Hi, thanks for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. I'm at Lake Sabrina at last, and I got my boat in the water. And no, it's not one of those big luxurious boats with sunshade and barbecues and stuff. I'll be rolling in my usual bathtub, but it's all good. So I want to get back to the inlet before the rental boats start coming out. And if you do come up here, you can rent boats, man. They got all kinds of aluminum boats, and they got kayaks. They got all kinds of things if you just want to come up here and fish and be a little bit more mobile. But I got my boat today, and I'm going to go to the back where the main inlet is, and I'm going to try to do a little fly fishing back there and jig fishing before the crowds arise, and then we'll go from there. But right now, it isn't even 6 o'clock in the morning. For a change, I'm out here on time, so let's go take advantage of it. One thing I really like about this boat are these oars, and this oar system is really efficient, and it gets me away from the shore, and it helps me position when I'm trying to fly cast or lure cast when I go up to the river mouth. You'll see how I use my oars to get close, so that way the motor doesn't scare any potential targets. Let's go see if we can get some. So there is a ton of debris, including a tree in the water over there. So I think I'm gonna land my boat and try to fish that flow on this side. And then if I need to, I can take my boat back around to the other side, fish that side. I kind of want to look at the creek. So I think just starting out, assessing the situation from shore is the best thing to do. It looks like King Kong went through here. Look how the trees are snapped off. There's trees all over the place. What the heck? So here, I can throw my woolly bugger from this nice sandy flat spot. And I'll attack it from my boat too. Ooh, a bald eagle. Cool. Before I hit that main flow that's coming out there, I'm gonna go ahead and make a couple of casts with this big black woolly bugger on this side where it's not so heavy, because there could be fish hanging out anywhere. There we go. That's a good fish. I know it's not. I'm really quick to make the assessment sometimes, so you gotta excuse me. I get a little excited, but these little wild ones fight a lot harder than even the bigger hatchery fish. But this little guy was looking to get bigger, so he went for the big meal. Even if it's small, I'll take a fish on my second cast. I think a lot of us would. I don't like uncertainty. All right, I'm thinking I gotta do this by boat. This wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. I mean, I could throw on a nymph or something right now, but I can't feel my hand at all after getting it wet to deal with that little tiny fish. So I need to put my hands in my pockets for a minute, and then we'll go from there. All right, I'm rowing in. Get it? Rowing in, going in. Ah. I should have just let that one die. And it is another tiny fish. Fantastic. Oh, little guy, get him in. position up to the other side. One thing you got to know about this lake, this inlet with all those boats that get rented, just gets hammered. Within an hour, there'll be like 5 boats right here fishing. It's quite a scene. All right, this flow looks a little more interesting. I just lost one, but it was like the other ones. I'm seeing a lot of fish like these small guys in this inlet. I think I'm gonna go power over to the other side. There's an inlet over there that probably doesn't get as much pressure because it doesn't look as fancy as this one. But there's just a bunch of, I can see them. There's just a bunch of small trout hanging out, and they're all about the same size. And I don't see anything big cruising. Which doesn't mean they're not here. Like you come here in the fall, there's just like dozens of big trout hanging out ready to spawn. There we go. See, there's just tons of this here. I can see him, and I can see him swim up and hit it. The water's really clear. Oh, he came off good. Unfortunately, he didn't come up before I got my hand wet. Little jerk. These little rainbows are fun to catch. They fight really hard. Oops, they came off. But luckily, they're coming off real easy. And these fish aren't that much bigger than the woolly bugger I'm using. There he is. Oh. But I'm finding if I let it sink down, maybe I can find something bigger that's hanging right out here and lurking in the shadows. I'm looking for something that's too big to be out in the open. It's a little deeper right here. Let's go in for another pass before I bail this scene. Because I'm bailing the scene, but just not yet. Before I go, I'll make one pass with this jig. I've got a rubber jig on, Sierra Slammer. And I just want to use the jig when it gets to where I can no longer see the bottom. Because that's, I want to see if there's anything big lurking down there. Other than that, I think this spot's just so pressured out. I can see these little fish swimming up and looking at the jig. They probably see like 30 of these a day. Once the boats show up back here, man, there's probably so many people back here fishing. And I can see the little trout chasing it. Yeah, he bit it. I just pulled it away from him. That fish was too small to even touch. I don't want to sound like a snob. I only touch big fish. Yeah. Yeah. I'll leave the smaller trout for the children. You know, I'm not like that. It's cold right now. I don't want to deal with it. I've already had some pretty good fishing this trip, so I'm not very desperate. There we go. I mean, this is what it is back here. I'm getting out of here. There's a little guy. He's tiny. The water is crystal clear, and I can see my rubber jig down there, and there's this trout trying to get it, and he won't leave it alone. And I've tried to set the hook like 3 times. He keeps hitting it. He's only like 8 inches long, so he's having trouble. I'm waiting to see the big guys swim up. The water's so clear, though, I can see down like 20 feet. So I threw that big countdowner pawl out. And I'm just giving it tugs. And I want to do this before the sun comes out. Because once the sun comes out, I can put nymphs on and go mess around in one of these creeks all day. You know, I'll catch fish. So I figure mess around with this for a little while. Try to pick up something big. Maybe I'll see something that I'm not aware of. and then I can respond to that accordingly. God, there's already a motorboat, 2 pontoons at the main inlet, and another pontoon boat right there. So that tells you there's a lot of fishing pressure in this lake. That inlet just gets hammered. I'm gonna come here later in the fall, like probably October, November, when things really calm down and there's not a lot of people fishing. Right now, everybody waited so long to fish, I think it's just everyone's coming now. I can see just tons of small fish swimming around eating bugs. And they're all like 8 to 10 inches. So it's only about 8:30. I'm gonna get out of here. There's tons of people showing up. All the pontoon boats that you saw earlier are rented. The motorboats are getting rented. The people are showing up in flocks. All I was seeing are little fish. The biggest fish I saw were the ones that are just hanging out right here where they just stocked them. So I'm just, I don't want to go out there and grind it out and try to find fish at 30 feet or whatever the deal's going to be. I don't got it in me. So that's going to wrap up Lake Sabrina today. I had fun out there, got a few fish from a fly rod. Those fish were all spawned in that creek. I'm assuming they had all their fins. They didn't look like stocked hatchery fish. So, you know, it was a good morning. It's been a good trip. Thank you for joining me on What It Is with Amani. Until next time.